Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of the Hungry Bleak podcast. Now, this one's going to be a little different. Consider this to be, I don't know if any of you are old enough to know what a damn pilot is. They don't really use that title anymore, but also think of this as kind of a backdoor pilot. Let's look at it like that. So, I've had this idea for a while, and you all know the history of what's happened with my mother and her recovery and everything and her health issues. But I've had this idea for a while. What if I go around to different comic book shops, talk to them about their stores, what makes them special, what makes them unique, what makes their store that store? Well, I decided to kind of pull the trigger, press the button, kick the no, kick the bucket is the wrong term. I think I got a little exuberant there, folks. I apologize. But here's the thing. I'm excited to do this. I want to do this maybe once or twice a month because I feel comic book shops are just one of the best places to go possible. I love going in there, spend hours in there. You buy the books, you get some really cool geek talk, talking about comics. Maybe it's your first time, it's your 1000th time. Doesn't matter. There's always a special thing about a comic book shop. So today, we're going to do this. So for the first one of these, I am just more than excited to be speaking to the gentleman from Gulf Coast Cosmos Comics. Now, I wanted to make sure I got the name right because every time I said the name, I forgot Cosmos. So I had to make sure that I got that Cosmos in there because it's important. Folks, if you will, please welcome Byron Canady of Gulf Coast Cosmos Comics.
Yeah, there you go. You got it right. That sounds
Uh,
good. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
no problem at all. Yeah, I had it. I before when we were just messaging, and I kept saying Gulf Coast Comics, Gulf Coast Comics, and then I looked at the name and I was like, I have forgotten that Cosmos was in there. What in the hell? But it flows in such a way, and I was like Cosmos. I was like, okay, yeah, cool. All right, bet.
Right.
Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. How are you doing today?
I am great. I'm great. Thank you again for having me. It's Friday, and I'm excited about the weekend. Ever since I was a kid, it's like the weekend means something. It means like mini vacation. It means unlimited fun, or at least unlimited within 3 days. But
Mm.
yeah, so it's Friday. So yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good.
That's it. Well, you know what? Yeah, I figured. You know what? Fridays. Yeah, Fridays have a special place for me too. Um, like you were saying with school, and also, I used to go to like New York a lot on Saturday. So Friday was my day to I get off work, you know, haircut, make sure I got my outfit great, fresh laundry, everything. I'm going up to New York. I'm going to eat some great food. I'm going to talk some comics. I'm going to get some comics. So yeah,
Right.
it does have that feeling of it. And when those when those payday Fridays hit,
Woo.
that's a little bit extra for you.
Yeah.
That's a, when that direct deposit hits and you see it and you go,
Uh,
okay, yeah, yeah, Friday. We about to do a little bit of something enough,
right.
but we about to do a little bit of something. So you are located in Houston, Texas. Now, give
Are
us a little
located
history of.
Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
We are specifically in the historic Third Ward community of Houston, Texas. If anybody knows anything about H Town, knows anything about Third Ward, we crank out some really special people out of Third Ward. And Houston's Third Ward community is historically what we would also consider the cultural epicenter for Black history, for Black culture within the city of Houston. Mind you, there are many, many great Black communities within Houston. We're talking about Sunnyside. We're talking about Acres Home. We're talking about Fifth Ward. Anybody knows Fifth Ward, especially when, it comes to hip hop and music.
Mm-hmm.
But Third Ward specifically is arts, it is culture, it is history, and
Oh, outstanding. Now, can you give us a little history of, excuse me, of Gulf Coast Cosmos Comics and how it came to be?
absolutely, yeah. So the origin story of Gulf Coast Cosmos. it came from many places. One of them, anybody that is a fan and a lover of comic books and culture, the comic book culture, you every now and again you fantasize about having your own comic book shop. Man, if I could do this all day, every day, this would be beautiful.
Yeah.
So it came from that, as to read comic books. Then later in life, after some adulting, I returned to comics and comic book collecting and culture, and picked up where I left off, and I've been in love ever since. There were some ideas that I had for an actual comic book shop that I started putting to paper and writing out an actual business plan, which is how Gulf Coast Cosmos and congeal into an actual business idea, a real retail space. It wasn't until 2020 that we actually became a business. April 2020. So in a couple of months, we'll be celebrating our 3-year anniversary as a business. And if anybody remembers 2020, it was like, yay! Oh wait,
Mm-hmm.
it was yeah. So we could not find a brick and mortar space to lease to save our life. So part of the business plan contains contingency plans for operating. And one of those contingency plans was our e-commerce website. That was to literally be our second location, which would be open 24/7. Turns out that was our first location, our e-commerce website. So we opened our virtual doors in August of 2020, and we've been on it ever since.
Oh, that's phenomenal. And I mean, 3 years, and to
Yes.
do it at a time when the world kind of just shut down,
Yeah.
and to do it in such a grand way is amazing. Congratulations to you and to everyone who has been a part of it. That's an outstanding thing, and I'm
Thank
so
you.
glad that you're here. Truthfully.
Thank you.
Now, what makes your store special? Like, what is it about your store that is truly special and unique?
Well, several things, honestly. What I did prior to actually launching the business, I studied bookstores, retail, and comic book stores. The easy part of that study and that the comic book store part. I'm familiar with comic books. It's like you live your life. Anybody that reads comic books, you live your life in a comic book store, so what a comic book store is supposed to have. Retail, the business of retail is a little bit different because not every comic book store is a quote unquote retail space. And bookstores, traditional bookstores, are also a little bit different. So to intermarry all of those elements into a unique space that would provide at its core comic books for everyone that has typically been othered or decentered out of the narrative of what comic book fandom and comic book culture actually is.
That's outstanding because I love that. I believe on your website, I think, and I'm paraphrasing possibly, where it says comic books are for everyone.
Yes, absolutely. And that's, and that seems to be such a simple statement, but it carries a lot of weight. And there's another statement that we have that says comics for the culture. Whatever your culture is, we got a comic book for you. And so that it's kind of like this, it's kind of like it's the bat signal, it's the Green Lantern signal. It is all of the things to everybody. Anybody has anything that represents me, I know Gulf Coast will.
See, that's a beautiful thing, because being able to just bring everybody in, no matter
Yeah,
what. Like
right.
I love when I'm in a comic book shop. Now I know what I want,
Yeah,
but when I hear someone else come in and they're like, "Oh, my significant other or my child, they like this, or what have you," and whoever's there, the shop owner or attendee, whoever's there, they're like, "Oh, okay, well," and they ask questions, they ask open-ended questions. Well, what is this? What is this? And they got, okay, I'll tell you what, this might be kind of cool. They might like this. So I love the idea of being able to have everyone to be able to go in, and they can all go in different directions, all get a different book, and it all hits them in a certain way. And I love the fact that we have so many comic books these days where everyone can feel represented
right.
and can feel a
Absolutely.
part of it, and they can root for that character in there, because we all want to root for someone, and they can root for that character in there because they see themselves in that story. And I think that's
Exactly.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Now,
One of the first times that we had uh, a, a mom to bring her kids in, a black woman. A
mhm,
black woman comes into the comic book shop. This is when we were just doing pop-ups. We didn't even have a brick and mortar store at this time. This was in 2021. Uh, this black woman, she comes into the pop-up and she's looking for comics. She knows that her son more than likely will have, access to a comic book or two. But
mhm.
when we introduce her and her daughter to Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur,
Oh,
and it was the cutest thing, because the little girl, she looked just like Moon Girl with the little Afro puffs and everything, and I was done for the day. I was done for the day.
but that's, and that is a great. That's a comic that I've been reading through. I wanted to try something different. For some reason, on that particular day, I wanted vampires. I wanted vampires and action and blood. And I said, you know what? No. And I went in the opposite direction. And I was sitting there and I was like, I'm so glad that I went in the opposite direction of what I wanted. And it just felt so. I love hearing stories like that, especially, you know, of black women and young black girls, and going in and seeing themselves in those stories and having so much fun, and seeing someone who, in your case, quite literally in that case, looked like the character. That's beautiful, right? Those are moments that when you see them, you go, yeah, yeah, this store was meant to be here. It was
Yep.
meant that I had this store right here. So again, that's outstanding. Now, being a comic book person yourself, um, what are, let's say, three comics? They could be right now or a couple years from now, or a couple years ago, whatever. What are three comics right now that you would say definitely are worth reading?
Can I include a graphic novel?
Yes, yes,
Okay. All right. Cool. So this the new Miles Morales. Can you see that? The new Miles
yes.
Morales storyline. Fire. Uh, and this is Wash Day Diaries. This is a graphic novel that was created by a
Oh,
webtoon writer, Jamila Rouser, and the illustrator, Robin Smith. Just recently won an award by the American Library Association, but it is, there's you just got to get it for yourself. And DC's most recent one shot, DC's Power.
power.
So they did this for Black History Month.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time they're ever doing anything like this. This is on par with Marvel Voices. With Marvel Voices, everybody knows that, for Marvel Voices, it is for Black History Month, for Pride Month, for Indigenous Peoples History Month. Marvel does a unique said, you know what? Hold my beer. We got y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, this is really, really good. So those are the three that I recommend.
Yeah, I haven't read the new Miles yet, but I want to get into it. Wash Day, I remember hearing about that, but now I want it. I got to have it. I
It
need
you got to have it. It's here.
bet.
It's here.
Bet. Well, if it's there, it's about to be sent here soon. Best believe.
Right,
And
right, right.
DC Power, yeah, because DC has only done, I think they've done Pride, and they did something else I want to say too. I don't remember
The
which one.
other history of the DC
Oh
universe,
yes. Yeah,
which
but
was pretty impressive. Pretty impressive.
yeah.
But it. Oh, and they also did a one shot called Represent. So that
Oh
was
yeah.
during. That was during all of the civil rights unrest. Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
DC came out with. So with them following it up with power, it reminds people that we're listening, and we are intentional on making sure that all voices are heard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The other history book, it when I started I didn't know what to expect from it. When I
Yeah,
started reading that, it felt like it was like this documentary.
didn't it?
And that's what you wanted to feel like. I thought it was going to be, more of a comic book and just, kind of retconned everything. But for it to be more
Yeah,
of a documentary, and I was reading it and I was like, oh wow, this is really, I think I'm on the third one, I want to
yeah.
say. Because
Okay.
there were five.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe
yeah.
yeah. And so that was
There were five,
yeah, so that
and
was
then they compiled it into a hardcover.
yeah, because I ended up getting each of the because I do more digital just because it's easier for me space wise and everything like that. But I still go
Mhm.
to shops because I love being in a shop. I love opening up the books and I love seeing the art as well. But I also love, supporting shops because I don't want y'all to go. I don't want y'all to leave. I want y'all to stay where y'all at. I want y'all to be here.
We thank you for that. In an article about the importance of comic book shops and why they should never ever go away. And I mean, retail business aside, I comic book shops are they always have stood as a community space, not always in a positive way, because there are times in which comic book shops often feel oppressive and kind of intimidating to a lot of people. So the one thing I do to say about those is that we are an inclusive and safe space, so that people know right off the bat when you come up in here, you come as your whole self, whatever that is. You come as your whole self and know that you are appreciated and welcomed here. Nobody's going to be eyeballing you. Nobody's going to be, do you know what you're looking for? It's none of that. It's none of that.
And that's beautiful because, and as I remarked earlier, how it looked very sunny and bright and everything. There was a time when in comic book shops, when you walked in, it literally was like a cave. It was dark. There was no light,
Yeah,
nothing. I mean,
right,
that was
right.
and that was real. But now you see shops
Yeah,
where the light is coming in. You look like you look at like, wait, like where are y'all coming?
right.
Like where y'all at? So that's a whole different vibe. So even to shedding light almost on people and saying, no, come in. We've
That
got
part.
you. Do you know what you're
That
looking
part.
for? You're just browsing? Whatever you need, I'm here. I got you. And
Yep.
and I love that. Now,
Yeah.
look, we've talked about comics. We've talked about the record. We talked about the history of your incredible store.
Yeah.
But hungry is in the title of the Hungry Bleak podcast. So I got to ask you, and I have a theory. Every comic book shop has like a plethora of places within walking distance, within a few blocks. Now, as you schooled me earlier, which I
Right.
hadn't thought about, is Texas, is
Right.
Houston. So what if I was to go there and I get comics and I ask you, hey, where should I go to eat so I can read these? Where would be your go-to spot to tell me?
So, like I said, it's like it's in H Town, so it's like
All right
we
now.
food entertainment. So that means it's like you could throw a rock and hit like a great food spot around here.
All right.
Um, So, oh, it's really hard to like say like there isn't a good food spot. It's like there are many good food spots. To get like snacks
Hmm.
and like cookies or like cupcakes or stuff, something like that.
Hmm.
We have a right down the street. It's
Okay.
called Crumville. And Crumville, they have, oh my goodness, they have,
The name alone got me. The name alone got me. All right. All right.
so they have like all of the cookies, and they're not just cupcakes. They're like what she calls them stuffed cups. They are cupcakes with like cookie filling stuffed inside.
I know
So you
damn
are
well.
getting it's vegan options. She believes me. She has vegan options that you're like, no, this is not vegan. Because normally it's like you go to like a vegan shop and you get like any type of vegan baked goods, like the dry leaf, it's like
Hmm.
that. These none of that. You're questioning yourself. It's like, are you sure this is vegan? My favorite pick from Crumville are the vegan ginger snaps.
Ooh.
These vegan,
All right.
I'll just leave it at that. So
All right. All
Crumville.
right.
We're also good for food trucks around here. So we have a lot of
Ooh.
food trucks. Yeah.
All
We
right.
have
All
a
right.
lot of food trucks.
All right. All right. All right.
So you'll have to figure out exactly what you have a taste for when you come here.
All right. So all right. So this is why I started doing this, because I was inspired by, if anybody knows Food Network, you know Guy Fieri, you know the show Triple D, Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives. That's what actually influenced me to do this, because I love food, and Fridays there's an all-day marathon of that show going, and I love it. And I love comics. So
Yeah.
I'll read and I'll listen to it. So I love food, I love comics. So that's why I'm asking this. And now you messed up my whole day, because now I got to go and research Crumville.
Go check out Crumville because she and the seriously, it's like every variety of cookie and stuff cup is ooh, I want to try that. Oh, wait, but then there's this. You'll see. You'll see.
All right, bet. Whew, damn. Man, you lucky it ain't payday, because I messed myself up, but
My
yeah.
bad, man. I'm sorry.
Look, these are good problems, Byron. These are good problems. You go
Fair enough.
into you go into Gulf Coast, excuse me, Cosmos Comics. You have a plethora of comics to check out. You grab your comics, then you step outside and you go, oh, I got all these comics. I got to figure out where I'm going to eat. Maybe I'll go somewhere for a little appetizer. Then I'll go somewhere for the meal. Then I'm going to go get some of these stuffed cups. Those are good problems.
Good problems.
Okay, so let me
Absolutely.
put Houston down on the list. All right, bet. Okay. Byron, I, thank you so very much for being the first uh, um, to do this, and hopefully the first of many to do this. This series that I'm going to be calling Off the Shelf. Speaking to you, you comic book owners who are out here doing this great work. You all have these havens, that I like to call them, where nerds, geeks, comic book fans, you can go in, you can feel safe, you can feel within your people and getting these great reads and relax, having these great talks, having some laughs. Um, we truly do appreciate you, and part of why I want to do this is to put more shine on y'all, because sometimes I feel
Thank
like y'all are kind of forgotten in the shuffle of everything. But I see you, I appreciate you, I dig what y'all doing.
you. I appreciate that. Seriously. Thank you. Thank
No
you.
problem at all. Do you have any final words for other people?
Other than those of you visiting H-Town, come check us out. We are located, again, in historic Third Ward community of Houston, Texas, 2306 Stewart Street. And that is Houston, Texas, 77004. Or if you are not in the H-Town area, you just want to just like have a look and see exactly what we're talking about, what we're doing around here, you can check us out on our website, gulfcoastcosmos.com, or all of our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Our handle is one handle, at CC. And we even have a YouTube channel, but we'll talk about that later.
Oh, all right. Okay. Okay, all right. I'm gonna have to go check out that channel and see. And folks, as always, I will have a link in the episode description where you can go and look up all the information on Gulf Coast Cosmos Comics. And I'm also gonna put the link in there for Cromville, because
yes,
don't let me come down there and get into Cromville, because it's gonna be, I got to go to the comic shop first and then go to Cromville, because I might spend all my money in Cromville. I'm gonna be honest with you, because if it sounds
here at
good,
the
like,
shop, we at the shop we have indoor outdoor seating, so
oh damn.
Yeah. So it's intentional. It's intentional.
See, that's beautiful. I love the outdoor seating thing, because, and you also have the little area where people can get coffee and such like that. So I
There you
love
go.
that you have like that place where you can get your crumbs, you can get a little coffee, you can go get some Crumville, you can sit outside, beautiful weather, light. I'm a big fan, and I make sure I let people know I sit outside all the time and read comics. I love doing it. I love, whether it's on my patio, whether it's in a park, I love doing that. It feels so good, whether it's print or digital. I love reading
Yeah.
outside. It just feels good. So I appreciate that about you. Byron, thank you so very much for coming here and just being a part of this. I truly appreciate it. Folks, this has been Byron Canady of Gulf Coast Cosmos Comics. I appreciate y'all. Remember, go like, subscribe, share, comment, tell your pastor, tell that nosy person that's in your neighborhood so they can tell everybody. Okay, you know they be talking about everybody and their mama. Ain't none of my business. That ain't none of my business. Okay, that's none of my business. Y'all have a good day. Enjoy the rest. Remember, drink water. Take your medicine for whatever it is, whether it's a physical, mental, or emotional ailment. I want you to be the best you can be. And as always, folks, as you know, it takes a second for my system to look to stop. You watch me shoulder shake as the show goes off the air. Do the best you can with what you got, because in the end, that's all the show get, folks. Now, peace. No.